All right, guys. I hope that this is recording. Oh yeah, it is. All right. Um, what's up, guys? I am here with another video. It's been a while since I actually made a video. Um, so if you're new and this is your first time watching my channel, or any of my videos, or doing any of this type of research, and my video is the first video that came up, first off, welcome to the channel and welcome to the video. And also, this video is about investing long term for young adults and also Bitcoin. But here today, I haven't made a video in a while about Bitcoin. But if you have been watching it as of recently, Bitcoin is actually at a recent low. It's been floating around like 109, 110K for the last few days now. But no need to panic. I'm just making this video because it actually has been on my mind for the past about 2 days now to make a video and further explain why you should be saving your money in Bitcoin at this point. So here, I have a chart, and this chart is pretty much the consumer price index in the United States. Um, I'm only speaking on the United States, of course, right now. I do not live in any other country. I live in the United States, never have lived in another country. So I can only speak on the economics of the United States. But I am going to speak on the consumer price index and relate it to Bitcoin in this video and prove to you why you should be investing in Bitcoin. So, um, this is the beginning right here. 1950 is the year, and we can see that the consumer price index is pretty low, right? It's low, right? And as you can see, this line, the chart, just it kind of was going up steady for pretty much from like the 1970s all the way up until probably about the early 2000s, right? We're going to call it right here at 1998, 99, right? So from there, it pretty much got worse. As we can see, the line, it gets violently more steep. It doesn't climb calmly anymore. It climbs in a very aggressive way, right? And what this is proving is that we basically are paying more for items in the country, except now we are violently moving up in prices, um, in regards to how much we pay for things in the country. The average thing, it could be eggs when you're grocery shopping, it could be anything, a car. This chart basically is an average, quote unquote average, of those items, right? So as you can see, when we get to 2022, well, this is 2021, but we can start all the way in 2020. So we all know in 2020, COVID came. And if you, I'm trying to zoom out, but I can't zoom out well. So we're just going to look out from right here, right? What year is this? 2000. So from 2000 all the way until 2020, it was climbing violently, right? But then we see from 2020, we see a drastic change in this. Right here, we can see that this line actually is very close to vertical. If you look at the dotted vertical white line on the screen and you compare it to the purple line, you can see that with like maybe like a 22-degree change, that would be a vertical line, right? Now, what does this mean for the average person in the United States? This means that the prices of things that you were paying for, let's say, a car, is growing at a way faster rate. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if your wages were also growing at this rate. But if you live in the United States right now, you very much, and you have a job, let's say you pay rent, you pay a mortgage, whatever it is, car insurance, whatever it is, right? You are paying more, but you are noticing that the dollars that you are making are not adding up enough to pay for that. Your job or whatever you do for work, basically your employer can is not willing to pay you more money for to keep up with inflation, the rate of inflation, right? So this is where it relates to Bitcoin, because this is I've explained this in my last videos, but if we go and we look at let's just go to BTC USD, right? Because I am going to show you guys. So this is the all-time chart for Bitcoin. Ignore that beautiful blue line there, but we're just going to leave this here for now, all right? So back to the consumer price index. Bitcoin basically is a deflationary asset, the same way that gold is a deflationary asset, and the same way that silver technically is a deflationary asset. Now, what does a deflationary asset mean? That is probably your next question. A deflationary asset is anything that you hold that becomes more expensive in dollars. Now, if you just started buying Bitcoin, or if you're trying to do some research before you actually start investing in Bitcoin, you have to learn that when you buy Bitcoin, you are not gonna make a million. You are not buying Bitcoin to get rich. So when you buy Bitcoin, you need to get that out of your head. You're not buying Bitcoin to get rich, right? Money is a tool. Money is a tool that you use to exchange for things that you want or need in life. The problem with dollars are it is not a good currency. Now, dollars are currency, it's not money. A lot of people think it is money, but it is not money. But we use it to trade for things. So, for the lack of a better word, we're going to use money. So, these dollars basically are not keeping their purchasing power. But you will see as you buy Bitcoin over time, you will actually begin to see that your Bitcoin matches up against the inflation rate and actually exceeds the inflation rate. And why is that? That is because, like gold and like silver, Bitcoin has a max supply. It actually has an even harder max supply in comparison to gold and silver. There is only 21 million Bitcoin to ever exist, right? So because there is this 21 million cap, that means that nobody in the world can go on a computer and make more Bitcoin. You can only obtain up to 21 million Bitcoin across the whole world. Same thing for gold. We don't know exactly how much gold there is, but gold is very hard to obtain. And we know that there is a max supply of gold on the planet, just like there's a max supply of oil. The difference between other precious metals is that gold is the most finite, and socially in the world, it is agreed upon everybody that it is valuable. And that's what makes gold money. And that's why it has been the best type of money for however many years now. Basically, since we started using money, that's when we started using gold. So back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has the same property. And sorry, I'm switching between the charts as I'm speaking so that you can look and you can see what these charts are doing in comparison to the consumer price index. But back to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin basically, let's say you bought Bitcoin back in 2000, and not we're not going to go all the way back to when it came out, 2009. We'll go back even to 2017. Let's go to 2017. 2017 was about going on 9 years ago. So let's go back. If you bought Bitcoin in 2017, you were buying probably around an average price of uh three $1,000 to $5,000 at most, right? Now, if you go all the way up, let's go forward 3 years. So let's go to 2020. In 2020, right? If you held and bought from that time where you were paying an average of $1,000 to $3,000, right, for a Bitcoin, depending on how much you had, let's just say you were able to accumulate one, right? You accumulated one at $3,000, right? So now when you are in 2020, you hit a price of, at the end of the year, $30,000. So you just got a $28,000 gain, not because Bitcoin just magically went up in price. You got that gain because Bitcoin is finite and Bitcoin is hard to obtain, and Bitcoin has all the characteristics of money, right? So this is important to realize because a lot of people back in the days were buying Bitcoin and they didn't really understand this, right? They were just buying it because they knew the price was going to go up. And a lot of them actually got out and sold their Bitcoin at this price. But if you skip to today, we know, just based on this green line, we can see that Bitcoin is currently sitting at a $110,000, almost $111,000 price tag for one Bitcoin. So those people who didn't hold and they sold at 30K actually took a major loss because they didn't understand that Bitcoin is something that is meant to be held. The same way that gold is something that is meant to be held, because all currencies are fake. And why are all currencies fake? Because I can go to the government, have them push a button, and it'll print trillions of dollars. And then these dollars will go into the economy. And that's what people, average people, will use to trade and obtain things that they want. But over time, it gets harder to get these dollars and use them for things that you want because the dollars are actually becoming less valuable as they print more of them. So the problem is that we're diluting the purchasing power by actually printing dollars. And this is the problem. And that's why you have to save some money in Bitcoin. If you're not completely comfortable with Bitcoin, you can save in gold. I also recommend that too. But Bitcoin is going to be the thing that generations, even after my young generation, will use because it is finite, highly transportable. It is accepted as money at this point, and it's just a better money. Nobody can take it from you, nobody can control it. It is not centralized, nothing. And that's why you want to buy Bitcoin. I'm making this video because um there was a lot of euphoria in the market around the time that Bitcoin hit this $124,000 mark, and everyone always goes crazy when Bitcoin's on a bull run, and they always say, "Wow, Bitcoin is it's crazy, it's going crazy!" Like, and everybody pays attention to it for a little bit of time. But what you want to be doing, and that's why I'm putting out this video now, is because you want to be buying Bitcoin at this price right here. I'm not saying time the market and buy Bitcoin on its dips. No, because you're not buying Bitcoin for the dollars. Remember, the dollars are fake, right? You want to buy Bitcoin to hold it so that it accumulates dollars for you. And then you can later find a way to use those dollars for things that you want. And you don't have to worry about decimating the whole entire stack of Bitcoin that you bought, because less Bitcoin will be worth more dollars over time, right? So you want to be buying this at this time, because soon, and when I say soon, I mean a long-term hold, like at least 4 years. At least 4 years. I say never sell it, but if you can't, at least hold it for 4 years at the very least. But over time, you will see that the Bitcoin that you stack and the Bitcoin that you hold will grow in dollars, and it'll start to look crazy, because then as you begin accumulating Bitcoin for a while, you'll see and you'll begin to understand that this paper money is just fake, and it's literally the most worthless thing, probably one of the most worthless things on the planet, right? It's hard to have that shift in your mind when you first start buying Bitcoin, but you'll see that Bitcoin is actually becoming more valuable than dollars. And if you're watching this video right now, or you're watching any type of video similar to this one, you will quickly realize how early you are in the world. Something I do is, like the other day, I was getting gas, right? I was putting gas in my car. And the dude who was working at the register, he looked like he was around my age, right? So sometimes I do this. I don't do it all the time, but just as a little test, I do it. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, do you invest, or do you buy stocks? Do you buy crypto, bonds, gold? Do you do any of that? He said, yeah, I buy a little bit. And I asked him, do you buy Bitcoin? And he said, no, I'm not into crypto. I don't buy it. That was pretty much it. He said my buddies buy it, but that's really it. And this goes to show, if you are in a space right now and you come across a video like this and you actually are buying Bitcoin right now, you are very early to buying Bitcoin, because a lot of the world has not caught on to the fact that all fiat currencies are collapsing. Something I want you to do on your free time is research about hyperinflation, and research about how all fiat currencies died. Research about how banks collapse. And this is not just about money. This is Bitcoin. Buying Bitcoin and gold and silver is definitely not just about being rich and having money, because there is not a guarantee, but there is a possibility that just because you buy Bitcoin or gold or silver doesn't mean that you're going to be rich. But what it definitely does mean is that you've opted out of the system of having paper money, this fake money that the world elites control, that they shove down your mouth, that actually has no value. It is a piece of debt that you're just trading around, and it has absolutely no value. There's no reason that dollars become less valuable over time, except for the fact that they just keep printing more of it, because they cannot sustain themselves without printing more dollars. So you want to be in Bitcoin. And if you are buying any amount of Bitcoin, I promise you, in your later years, you will not regret buying it at all. It will be one of the best choices that you made, as long as you are responsible with it and you do not throw it away. You don't sell it at the first chance that you get. You don't sell it and then go buy something dumb. You will not regret buying Bitcoin. And for a lot of people out there, I know times are hard and not everybody has extra money to buy Bitcoin. And something I recommend that you do is that you try to live below your means. If you have debt, try to erase your debt. Try to get it as low as possible, and then take the extra money and buy some Bitcoin. Or if you're just constantly eating out, try to eat out less. If you're eating out 5 times a week, try to eat out twice a week and buy some Bitcoin with the extra money. It really doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you buy right now because you're so early. As long as you get a decent stake in Bitcoin, and I'm not saying get a certain amount and stop, Bitcoin should be something that you're buying forever because inflation only gets worse over time. The United States debt is growing a huge deficit, and it's going to be hyperinflation is going to be something way worse than what it is now. And I really hope that you are watching this video and you understand this. I hope you're really understanding which way the world is going, because what they're going to do is they're going to turn all money digital. You're going to be using a digital dollar, a crypto digital dollar. Your mortgage is going to be on the blockchain. People will barely be able to buy a house, and it's just going to get way harder. And I know if you're a younger generation, you definitely do feel it. And Bitcoin, I just wanted to put it out there that Bitcoin is the solution. Bitcoin is a thing that you want to buy. If you don't buy Bitcoin, buy some gold. Gold is also good because when they do shut down the internet, when when the energy crisis comes, which is um, very, very, very far away, but when it does come, you're gonna want gold because that's gonna be the big reset. And um, until then, Bitcoin is gonna be the ruler, pretty much, of everything, more or less. It's gonna be the gold. They're gonna, and the world's bank reserves, they're gonna have gold and Bitcoin in there. And those are gonna be the two things that hedge against the fake money that they're shoving down the average person's throat that doesn't understand the fact that money is fake. Once you understand the fact that money is fake and you can see through, and you finally get to break through that programming that they've instilled in you since birth, pretty much, you will see that Bitcoin is a better money. Gold is a better money. Silver is a better money. It is hard. You can't make more of it. You can never replace what it is, the fundamental rules behind it. You can't do any of that. It'll never change. And that is the beautiful thing behind it, because once you opt in, you don't have to worry about somebody inflating your Bitcoin away or taking the value of your Bitcoin away. You don't ever have to realize this. You don't ever have to worry about this. I mean, sorry. This is probably the last time, and I really think in the next probably like decade, right now, this is the last time that you can get Bitcoin and accumulate a decent amount at a decent price, at a very low price. This $110,000 is already a lot more than most of the average person's capital anywhere in the world. Um, if you This is probably someone's yearly salary, and Bitcoin has no plans on stopping right here at 110K. This happens every time, and I've been watching Bitcoin for about 5 years now, and this happens every single time. So Bitcoin's only going to go higher, and it's only going to get harder to accumulate. So what you have to do is you just have to get some and hold it and never sell it. And you will see that the amount that you paid for it will rise in value in dollars. It's crazy. You can pay 1,000 for some Bitcoin today, and it'll be worth 10,000 and however long it takes, and you won't have to worry. But someone who was too late and they weren't paying attention and they were distracted by everything else that's going on in the United States will see that their dollars mean nothing. And I want as many people to know this, because I don't want to gatekeep the information for myself. I don't want to do any of that. I want to see as many people get Bitcoin as possible, because it's definitely going to be something that is needed, in the future. Those Roth IRAs, those retirement accounts, all of it will get inflated away because they're denominated in dollars. They will all get inflated away. You will work for 60 years for a retirement account that will get inflated away by the time you are 60 years older. And even retirement for some people who have been working for 60, 70 years, some of them can't even retire today. And that's how bad inflation is in the United States. So you guys really need to think about this. And I hope if you came across this video, you really do heed to this information, because this is something that will change your life. If you buy Bitcoin, it definitely will change your life. I promise you, in the next decade or less. And yeah, so that's really my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you were listening, and I hope this information really helped. I really do hope this information helped. And yeah, remember, buy Bitcoin, put it in cold storage, and you know, just hold, never sell, and you'll be all right. All right, guys.